Draw simple, easy.
Well, hello there guys. Today we're going to be drawing a quick, simple, easy picture of Rick and Morty. So go ahead and grab your pencil and paper, and we're going to start off with Rick's head. Now you can imagine a rectangle at a slight angle, if you like, something that is going to be twice as tall as it is wide. So you notice I've got it on an ever so slight tilt here, something like so, and that's just two squares next to each other, one on top of the other. Or what I just kind of do is use that as a guideline and basically create this big curved elliptical shape. So I'm going to just smooth off the edges. I'm going to come all the way around in much more of a gentle natural curve, and that box is there just to let you know this kind of proportion, this relationship, because Rick has a very long face. So I'm just going to curve all the way around off the bottom. You could imagine two circles, one sitting on top of the other, being our base guiding line. And then for Rick's eyes, they're going to sit just above the halfway point, but they're going to be really, really big. So right in the middle of all of this, I'm going to go ahead and put one great big eye around about here. And then another great big eye that's going to be ever so slightly squeezed in over to the right, and it is going to bounce or shoot off a little bit over the edge. So I'm just going to draw this right up in here, something like so. Great. And then below this halfway line, we've got all the rest of his bits of features. So if you imagine that this bottom section is split off into three sections, 1, 2, 3. The nose is going to be in this top third, the mouth is going to be somewhere in the middle third, and the rest is all the chin and stuff. But it also helps us map out where the ear is going to be. So I'm going to stick this ear right on this line here, the line that shows the bottom of our top third of space, so to speak, and just create a nice big curve, nice big half circle there. The nose I'm going to have coming straight down from just inside the edge of the eye on the right, just like so. A really simple line down and then hooks up, a bit like a letter J. And then the mouth is going to have a nice wide casual smile. I'm going to start from about the center of the eye distance. I'm just going to keep it fairly in the middle of this bottom third. Just a nice gentle curve, something like that. Let's just make sure that's all nice and clear on the camera phone. Lovely, it is. And then what we do is we just build around this. The outside edge of a smile has a bit where the cheek squeezes in, so I'm just going to put a nice big letter C around the edge of that there, and I'm going to do the same on this side so it bumps off on the outside edge like so. The eyes, I'm just going to draw a curve under here just to show a bit of the kind of pouchiness there, and the same here is going to just curve right up in to the eye on that side. And then the eyebrow, he has this great big monobrow. So you can draw this just as one kind of long worm that sits on top of his head. I'm going to go around about here, nice and high, and just imagine a curve like so. Just sits there, and then I'm just going to give it a bit of shape and thickness by duplicating that line along the top, like so. And again, it just pops over to the right. Now, the rest of his head is actually going to be maybe just a little bit wider than we've put it here. I'm going to allow the ear to be my guiding point. I'm going to go about halfway into the depth of this ear and just bring this curve, I think, a bit further around there, ever so slightly. Nice. And then we need to start mapping out his hair. He has a very spiky kind of wild haircut that just kind of floats back almost like an anime style. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to start from the bottom of this circle, and I'm just going to draw this curve that bumps out fairly far all the way around like so, almost as if I'm just drawing on a great big afro for him, something like that for the back of his head. And the reason why I'm drawing this is it's just a very rough guiding line to show me that his hair's gonna kind of point out about that far. So all of our triangle shapes start from the head and they're going to overlap. I'm going to have a great big triangle here. This is one of the main parts of his hair. It probably just wisps back like so. And then instead of starting here, I'm going to go in a bit and overlap. I'm going to have another triangle here up towards the top. It comes down like so. Overlapping again, I'm going to have a much smaller triangle of hair. Just kind of pokes out about here. And then overlapping again maybe another bit of hair that goes about that far, just almost to the edge of its kind of rough guiding line. And then I think we've got another bit of hair that just pops out down there. Then same on this side, overlapping these triangles. I'm going to have a big one that kind of goes maybe out here. And then another one is going to go about here like so. Just following this guiding point. So we've got on the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's get in 2 more at the very least. Let's go 7. This one's going to go down past the ear. And then some little ones. 8. And then, yeah, let's get a cheeky little one down there as well. 9. So it's almost like a Sonic the Hedgehog haircut. But remember, we're only worrying about this outside edge. And all the inside lines are just guidelines. Now I'm going to give him a little bit of a neck that just shoots off from around about here. Like so. Just a tube that that's all sitting on. Curve it out. And I'm going to give Rick a body that is only a little bit wider than this head circle. It's really not too much to shout home about. So I can go ahead and just kind of imagine a very rough box right below where that neckline is. And just drop a shape down here as a rough guideline. Now, the inside edge of his open jacket hangs down fairly straight. So I'm going to go from the outside edge of this neck. I'm just going to create a line that just falls off the page like this. And then same on this side like this. The jacket's kind of, or lab coat lapels, they follow this kind of big triangle shape like this. Just get this guiding line in for yourselves at home. Another big triangle shape off like this. And where we've got the point of a triangle, actually, this is where it goes inwards instead. So I'm using this triangle point to be the area where I just bring that shape back in. So we know we go here and then in like that. It's a nice quick way to get it out of the way. And I'm just going to drop some shoulders off from around about here. Same down on this side. And then all we need to do then is maybe just get an arm that goes maybe off to the left here. We've got a bit of elbow round about here. They're fairly long armed, these characters. And I'm just going to give that some thickness by drawing that arm there. And then just hooking it in just off the bottom of the page. Something like so. Same on this side. If I imagine this body is here with the lab coat, I might just have an arm that comes just off of this shoulder round about here and goes fairly straight down for the sake of it off the page. Now his eyes, they aren't perfect little dots or perfect little circles, you've probably noticed. They are just like asterisks, like squidgy smudge marks. So where you might put a pupil in around about here, I'm just going to put in a squidgy smudge mark asterisk. And there we've nailed half of it so far. So getting Morty out the way is probably just as simple as easy, if not easier. Again, just making sure we're all in focus. Let's go by having his head be a great big circle. And the middle of this circle is probably the height of Rick's chin. So the middle of our circle is going to sit somewhere on this line. I'm just going to draw a great big circle around about here. And don't forget, you can make up a circle by drawing lots of wispy lines. Just keep marking the page like so to get that feel of things into place. Just going to bring that up and around. And then in a very similar vein, we're just going to map out his head as well. I'm going to go straight away ahead on this and just map out a center line off to the left. When you're drawing on a circle, you need to map it like it's 3D. So I've got a bit of a curve there. I'm going to do the same just to show that it's on a tilt along the y-axis? One of them, anyway. You know what I mean, making a cross in the middle. So I'm going to have his eyes sit above the center line on each side. I'll have a nice, great big eye around about here now that we've mapped out that cross space. And then another great big eye round about here, doing a very similar thing. Lovely. His nose then is going to be right kind of on this X space for us. Somewhere around about here, just like so. Just a little letter C. And then we'll give him a kind of, I don't know, sort of smiling face. Something like that, just floating around the bottom. He's never quite sure of what he's up to. His eyes again, looking up towards Rick, are these weird smidgy marks. So I'm just getting that in. I've got no other way to describe them. And then he just has some very simple eyebrow lines that sit above the eye. There's maybe one up here and maybe one up here as well. his ears are below the bottom of the eye, much like with Rick. So that's just going to be another semicircle we might put in anywhere around about here, I'd say, something like that. And then just a little lump on the other side to show where the other ears sticking out. And then we just need to get his hairline in. So on this circle, I'm just going to start from the back of this ear, and I'm just going to bring a hairline that kind of comes up and around just above these eyebrows, kind of following the shape of the circle, but just on the inside as it comes around here and down like so. And his hair is just going to be kind of a slightly lumpy line that just curves all the way around here as well and follows it out and about. And it's just got these kind of ever so slightly abstract lumps to it to kind of represent his hair. It's not perfectly even, but then on this side it does kind of curve round and just become a smoother circle again as it goes back to join behind the ear somewhere around about here like so. Lovely. So if we imagine that's his fringe around there, and then we don't even have to draw a neck for Morty. We can just actually just create this big curving shape that comes from around about here, just off to the left of the bottom of the circle, and just curves as an arc straight off down, and a very similar shape on this side here as well. If you imagine him like a really simple mock wooden doll. And then what I'm going to do is just come off of this curve around about here, doesn't have to be perfect, to bring down one sleeve, just a line about there, and then this is going to be the natural curve of our other sleeve at the same height. His body, if you imagine, starts from around about here, and I'm just going to bring a line in to show he's ever so slightly just leaning over like a youth, and then we'll have one arm just coming out of the sleeve there, and our other arm coming out of the sleeve around about here. And that is pretty much it. Let's have another check for the camera phone. Lovely, nice and simple. I'm going to drop into some time lapse where I'm going to put the ink layer on top so that you can see all of the lines that we're keeping and which ones we're rubbing out and getting rid of. And I'll see you guys right at the end. And there you have it, a nice, quick, simple, easy picture of Rick and Morty from Rick and Morty. So I hope you guys found this to be useful. Don't forget to come click like and subscribe, and you can always check out my Patreon page, where your support makes these things possible, as well as you getting loads of rewards. But I'm going to scan this in. The lab coat's going to be white. There's going to be a very, very light kind of pastel blue to the shirt. Skin tone that's ever so slightly grey, and grey hair that's ever so slightly blue. Whereas Morty's just going to have a yellow shirt, similar skin tone, and brown hair. I hope you guys have a lovely week. Wubba lubba dub dub.